Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Kodeations coming at you today with another video. The first things on the chopping block today, we have heroes. We're going to take a look at heroes. We're going to decide what exactly is the best practices when it comes to evolving your heroes, leveling your heroes, summoning your heroes, basically just anything that pertains to heroes besides a tier list. Obviously, I'm not going to get into doing any tier list videos, not anytime soon, because I do not have that research, nor do I have that power to decide what hero is best. A lot of that comes down to the comp and your other team members that you have and other heroes that you've pulled in the game. So we're not going to get into that very much, but without further ado, let's get into upgrading and evolving heroes. All right, first things first, we are going to click on the Heroes tab. Taking a look at the heroes that I have on my account, I have several different options here, and I've kind of went up in tier. The reason why we are on this account, this is my main account on my phone, not the one we use on stream or normally on our, not stream, but our YouTube videos. But I went on this account because we have a lot more heroes that we can showcase, and I can kind of give you these steps going forward from a 4-star all the way up to a 3 red is what I like to call that that star. So all right, first things first, taking a look at a 4-star hero. When you click on the 4-star heroes, in the top right hand corner, you will see the up arrow. In that up arrow is where you're going to evolve the unit. So the first level, or the first thing that is always required for 4-star units, is going to be 3 additional copies to the 1 unit you have. So as you see here, we have 1 Hellhound that we want to try to evolve, and I'm going to click on this. It shows the Hellhounds. It shows we have 0 out of 3 placed there, and we basically need 3 of them. So of the Hell class, the exact same unit. So we're going to click here. As we note, I only have 2 of those, so I cannot place a 3rd one because I don't have one. But if I did, I would place all 3. Click select, and then as you see here, this number will go up but to 3 to max that out, and this picture color will actually be filled. The next thing it requires is 4 4-star units of the Hell class or the same faction of that 4-star. So for instance, if I was looking at this is not good, if I was looking at this guy right here, yeah, see, he still says 5. He's technically a 4. If I was looking at, like, this is also a Hell class. I'm failing at this, by the way. Okay, so Heaven class here. So if I was looking at another 4-star, you can see we do have enough to put there. We need 4 of the Heaven classes. It does not matter on the unit. So to give you an example, I will just do 4 random ones to show you how this works. Click select, and you can see it fills in the color, and the requirements are complete. So that means that we do meet those requirements. The next thing on the list for the 4-star units to push a 4-star to a 5-star, as indicated right here, is the 3-star units. So this is why it's very imperative not to disassemble your 3-star units early game. You want to keep your 3-star units as long as possible, and by as long as possible, the first indicator that you need to clean out some of your 3-star units is going to be your hero cap. Once you have capped out on the maximum amount of heroes that you can hold, and you can no longer summon anything, and it asks you to like pay for VIP or whatever to increase your hero cap, this is the first sign that you need to upgrade your hero, or not upgrade your hero, sorry, you need to disassemble some heroes. And so the first question that people ask a lot, especially for new gamers or newcomers to this game, is how do I choose which hero to disassemble, especially since I'm telling you not to do 3-star units, at least not early game, and to be cautious when you do them. The first thing you should always know is 1-star units and 2-star units, they always get disassembled or dismantled or broken down. And the reason why that is because they offer no benefit to you whatsoever. Their level cap is only like level 40 or 60 or something, which is super low. You would never use a 1-star or 2-star unit. And not only that, the resources that you get for breaking them down are used to upgrade your units that you actually want to keep, which should be your 4-star unit, or sorry, your 5-star units, and potentially some 4 stars when you first start, because you don't have all 5-star units. So With that being said, 1 and 2 stars are always broken down. The next thing is the 3-star units. 3-star units are hard because, as I mentioned and shown you on the 4-star units, you have to have 4 of those 3-star units of that same faction in order to push that 4-star unit to a 5-star. So it's gonna basically come, I mean, it's unfortunate because there's no guide, but basically it's going to come down to what comp you are running, what units you are trying to upgrade, you know, what 5-star units you have pulled in the units that you're trying to use in your campaign or to progress later on in the game. And for that reason, that's how you justify which ones to break down. So for instance, if I'm not running any savage units, right, like in my composition, then I would probably, the safest bet for me would be to break down, you know, savage units. So these guys here, for instance, if I'm not running them, same thing would be true if I was not running any fortress units. If I pulled all, I don't know, savage and forest and grave, you know, 5-star units, but I have 0 for fortress units and I hit level cap, then it probably would be, you know, that's the safest bet, is to break down some of your fortress units. So it just really depends on kind of what units or what heroes you have pulled and the ones that you're using in your comp and everything going forward. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position right now to do a hero tier list. I can do like I might do a hero tier list in my opinion, but I'm definitely not an expert into the game as far as you know, some people. And not only that too, I think it's hard because the hero or the game hasn't been out that long. New comps are popping up everywhere. People are still progressing in the game, and so for that matter, I don't think people have generated what is the best overall, especially since some of the fights are situational. But so that's kind of how you do that. You visit the altar, you break them down. That would be my recommendation for your 3 stars. Moving on to 5 stars. When you have a 5-star unit, so this Phantom Assassin, she is a natural 5-star unit. She's only a 5-star unit. You cannot pull her at a 4-star. With that being case, we go and check out her evolution. This is the first step that we see here for the 5 stars, and that is going to be the exact copy. We only need 1 copy of her. However, since she is a natural 5-star, it's a lot harder to get a copy of her. So we need a copy of her in order to meet this requirement. And then the second requirement is another 5-star from the same faction. So as you can see here, it just requires the same faction, doesn't require a specific unit. So when I click here, I do have a 4-star that has been pushed to a 5-star just specifically for this purpose to be able to use. In this case, I would throw him in here, and then if I had another Phantom Assassin, I would use her here to push her to a 1 red or a 6-star, whatever you call it, and which increases her stats and also increases her level cap. So that's the 5-star units. So moving up to the 1-star or the 1 red or the 6-star units, whatever you want to call it, requirements. And what those requirements are a little bit simpler but harder. So basically 3 5-star units of that same specific class. So you can see that she is part of the fortress race. So we need to meet the requirements. We need 3 of the fortress race 5-star units. So again, as you can see here, you can put a 4-star unit to a 5-star, and then that will become available in order for you to use to place in there. So as you can see here, we can place him in as one of the 4. So again, this is just something like I mentioned, that this is the requirement for 6 stars. So the 7 stars or 2 red, whatever you want to call it, for the upgrade on her is going to only increase by 1. So it's going to go up to 4 instead of 3 being the requirement. So as you come here, it requires 4 of the forest race or faction, and they have to be 5-star units as well. So you are then required 3 for the 1-star, 4 for the 2-star, and then for the 3-star you then open up a little bit more or a little bit harder. And what that is that basically drops in, we need 3 5-star units from the fortress class. So as you can see here, we need 3 5-stars, but we need 1 from the class lower. So we need 1 2, like 2 red or 1 2-star units basically after that, or one, I'm gonna, what is that, 7? Yeah, so that's gonna be, you know, 1 7-star unit from the fortress class, which as you can see I don't have right now at the moment, but if I did, that's where it would be. So that kind of gives you a rundown. Unfortunately, I can't go higher than that on this class because I do not have any units that are pushed that far into the game, which I hope to fix that here soon. With that being said, that kind of gives you the basic rundown on the heroes and the hero evolution and how evolution works. Another thing to keep in mind, the reason why, or another thing to keep in mind that's a good practice is do not progress your 4-star, do not rely on your 4-star units to carry you to end game. And why that is, for newcomers that do not know, if you go to the gallery section in the game, you will be able to see each individual faction or race and the units underneath that. Now, the top units on the list underneath each faction are the superior units, so the Nat 5s of that race. The Nat 5s have the ability to go all the way to max level in the game, which is 250 for those units, and your 4-stars can only go to 200. As you can see here, this assassin caps out at 200, and that's one reason. The second reason is they have one less ability, so they're kind of like, you know, they're crippled in a sense. You know, they're not meant to go, you know, all the way to the end game. This game is built around 5-star units and having the most 5-star units and being able to get copies of those 5-star units. The game unfortunately makes those 5-star units super rare because it is a game, it is a strategy, it is something that you have to work at to achieve. But basically, getting those, or trying to push those 4-star units to 5-star units, and then taking those 5-star units, really 4-star units, but taking those 5-star units and using them to push your superior units, you know, your Nat 5s to a higher tier, to 6, 7, 8, you know, 9-star or whatever. That's what they're meant for, and that's the best practice for it. But however, that's not always the case. Sometimes you run into a situation as like so here on my account that we play on stream with you guys. Sometimes you end up running into a situation where you have not pulled good enough Nat 5s to create a comp, or the comp that you want to run, you know, just isn't there for you. And with that being the case, you end up with something like I have here on screen. I am running a couple 5-stars that I really want to push. As you can see, this guy and my mage. However, I am using some 4-star units that I have pushed to level 80, and now to me that is the cap. That is where I want to stay with these 4-star units. I don't really want to progress too much further on these 4-star units. Maybe 100. You could probably push it to 100 on some accounts if you have not pulled any 5-star units. Again, that doesn't happen very often, but that's something to just take a look at. This account is strictly free to play. My other account is not. I've put a little bit money into the game when I first started playing, just to get a head up and start to develop some of those resources and skills a lot faster. So with that being the case, this account is solely free to play, and these are just the pools and the summons that we got. So we have to take what we have and work with what we have. And again, like I said, you don't want to push those 4-star units to end game, because you're going to hit a wall at 200 and then you're going to waste those materials. This game, as everybody has already found out from playing this game, it does not have a guarantee resources back feature in the game. So when you actually dismantle a hero and you come over here to your dismantle section, if you have invested any resources into that material or into that unit, whether it being 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, 6 stars, 10 stars, it doesn't matter. The game does not give you every bit of materials that you put into it. Quite frankly, I think it's RNG. I think it's randomly generated, the amount of materials it gives you back. And for that reason, it makes those heroes a lot more valuable, for one, but it makes you cherish, you know what I mean, your resources and where you put those resources. So again, just be careful, make sure to look out for that. Do not invest into characters, you know, that you are not planning on keeping or carrying to late game, which I would advise for you guys for it to only be 5-star units that you plan on doing that with. Again, like I said, if you do run 4-star units, try to cap them out early on. The earlier you can cap them out and switch to a 5-star unit, the better. Anyways, guys, that's been me for the video. If you have any questions, if you want me to dive into a little bit more of information about upgrading the heroes or evolving the heroes, or maybe you just have some heroes that you are able to evolve and you want to know exactly which one to pick or which one to run with. But like as I mentioned before, the best practices for this game so far at this moment in time for 2020 is always break down your 1 stars and your 2 stars. Hold on to your 3 stars until you're starting to hit your hero cap. Once you hit your hero cap, evaluate your heroes, decide which ones of which factions that you're running to get a buff or whatever your formation buff is, and then at that point start or choose only a couple of them. I recommend doing like 1 or 2 at a time. Don't go and blow a whole bunch of 3 or 3-star units or disassemble 3-star units just for the sake of clearing your cap all the way down. Instead, I would save and hold on to them as long as possible, because as we mentioned before, you will need those 3-star units in order to push your 4 stars to the 5-star mark. And then you're going to need those 5-star units basically to push your natural 5-star units to the next tier to 6 stars or 1 red. So again, I've been Kodeations. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below in the video and hit that notification bell so you get a notification every time I drop a video. I will catch you guys on the next one.